Hello everyone and welcome to another hands-on tech video. On today's episode, I want to show you how you can quickly solve the discoverability issue that you probably are facing with SharePoint Skills. SharePoint Skills are one of the best features Copilot has, but they have a serious problem. Unless you know the name, unless you know they exist, probably you will never be able to execute them. So let's fix that with a recent update that is just being released worldwide that allows you to execute Copilot actions on SharePoint with a click of a button. So let's jump right into SharePoint and see how it works. Well, before jumping into the solution, let me show you the problem. I have this skill that I've created to group all the Microsoft 365 roadmap items and message center items by product each week. This is part of the work that I do, and this is something that I share with the community on my blog and on my newsletter. So when this is executed, what happens is that the content that it's in this HTML column is then sorted and grouped by product. The problem is that when I want to run the skill, I need to remember the name, and I'm terrible with names. So most of the times, a simple thing as newsletter grouping, I can simply remember, and I often need to go to the place where the skill is to find its name. And skills in your SharePoint site are located in the agent assets folder under skills, and then you will find the name of the skill. And the moment I see the folder, I know exactly the name of the skill. So I go to the list, I open the chat, and I ask Copilot to execute the skill. So what I'm about to show you is a way to solve that issue, to make the skills visible to everyone and to allow users to execute those skills. In order to do that, what I will show you is how to create a SharePoint index skill using a SharePoint page. I already have the page created. We all know how to create SharePoint pages, so this is it. And to create the skill index, what I will do next is add the SharePoint button web part. This was something that up until last week was a simple web part to add a link. But now if we go to the actions, there are new options. There's the open link, there's the run power automate flow, which is also a cool features. And there's this open Copilot in SharePoint. This is only visible for licensed users, but this allows you to create the button to execute the actual skill. So I will select this option, and the instructions allow you to basically write the prompt that can do whatever in your SharePoint site and also invoke the SharePoint skills. So going to this skill again, it's called newsletter grouping. I will write the prompt to say, run the skill newsletter grouping. And that's exactly what I will type here. Run the skill newsletter grouping. One thing that you should always do if that is not defined in the skill itself is provide context. Context is king in AI, and especially when you are prompting inside SharePoint. If you have not targeted exactly the library or the list where the content is, make sure you do it in the prompt and make sure you give all the possible context. I'm doing it as simple as this in here because, well, in my skill, I already passed the context. I have the site, I have the list with the ID. So I have everything, including the name of the columns. But if any of that wasn't here, and if that was a generic skill meant to be executed on top of several lists, then make sure that you pass the context here to tell what is the list, where the list is located, where are the columns, where the values are meant to be stored, things like that. So now I need to provide a name for the button. I will make it a little bit more friendly, and that's it. You can customize it with icons, and you can choose if it's visible on mobile or not. But for now, I will leave it as is. This is the beginning of the SharePoint Skills Index. I will publish the page. And now when I click in the Run Skill Newsletter grouping, what will happen is that the Copilot chat will open automatically. in the context of the page, and it will type for me the prompt that I added to the button. So I asked him to run the skill newsletter grouping. It already found the newsletter grouping skill. So now he's doing its thing. And in a few minutes, I will have all the updates for this week group ready to put in my blog, ready to put in the newsletter in the HTML format that I've been generating for years using Power Automate, but now it's available directly inside of the SharePoint list using the skill. So this is how you do it. And this is how you can make skills visible. The SharePoint skill index, it's a great idea, but if you have users that are not Copilot licensed, they won't see any of that information. And that's by design. The users that are not Copilot licensed, they won't see anything Copilot related on SharePoint, and they won't see the button, even if you added it to the landing page. And that's exactly what is happening with this user. Despite being a site owner and despite the button being here, the user cannot see it. But if I put it in edit mode, the owner can still see it, can still see the prompt that it's in here. So the owner knows that this is in here, but it's only visible for the licensed user. So whenever you are building the index, it might be a good idea to put their information saying, well, this page only applies to users that are licensed for Copilot, or put it in a side collection or a place where only those users have access to. So this is what unlicensed user sees when the button was created by a licensed user. All the options are visible here. You can see the prompt and all that. What happens when an unlicensed Copilot user adds a button is that the Copilot option is not there for the user to select. So the only available options are Open Link and Run with Power Automate, and this will help to solve the confusion. But if the button was created by a licensed user, just keep in mind that the button will not be visible, and this will not allow unlicensed users to execute skills. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a simple trick, but I'm sure it will save you a lot of time finding the right skill. And more important than that, it will help you a lot with the adoption of SharePoint skills. So to make sure you don't miss the next update about Microsoft 365, click in the subscribe button and see you next time. Bye bye.